Love return to love. And remember, we don't have to believe it, we don't have to accept it, we don't have to welcome it, doesn't matter. We just want to hear it, we're looking for our thoughts. So what I did was I'm going to go through the paragraph and then I wrote down the points of the paragraph for me. And because it's all about remembering. 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 So here's the paragraph. Let us first consider the roles of teacher and learner. A teacher is first and foremost anything that aids your remembering. So anything that helps you remember who you really are, and who are you really? Love, child of God. What else? Anybody? Who are we with really, according to what we're learning?
Juicy and cute.
Juicy and cute. What else? Who else?
Yeah. Jesus.
Huh?
Spirit.
Spirit. Love. Let's say that with some gusto. Love. All right, love. All right. All right. I want you to kick your ego's butt for a minute. Just kick it out of the way for a minute, just for an hour. Thus, look not at the form in which a teacher arrives. It can truly be said that all of life is your teacher. There is not one aspect of your life that is not designed to help you remember who you are. There is nothing that is happening in your life that was not specifically designed to help you remember to party like a big dog, that you are loved, that you are innocent, that you are powerful. Everything that's ever happened in your life was designed to help you remember you are loved, you are loving, you are lovable. Everything in your life that has happened was designed to help you remember what? And I am lovable. This is not, it said, there is not one aspect of your life that is not designed to help you remember who you are. As we have stated repeatedly, the form of your world in many ways reflects the content of who you are. How many times do we have to hear this to get it? How many times do we have to hear everything you're looking at is showing you the thoughts in your mind? Everything, the content, he says, it also, he said it reflects the content of who you are, but it also reflects the content of who you are not. So I look out and I see what I am, and I look out and I see what I'm not. You're seeing both of them. That's an interesting way to put it, isn't it? Then it goes on to say, it is in telling the difference between the two that you need guidance. You have previously looked to those who do not know the difference for your answers. Now you can see that you need to look to a different source. So what did that say? It said to me that anything or anyone that helps me remember who I truly am is, as an infinite being, is my teacher. So anyone that's helping me remember that I'm powerful, loving, lovable, and infinite, that's my true teacher. So your true teacher is anyone or anything that helps you remember you are more than a body. A true helper is someone that's teaching you and helping you remember you are spirit, you are love, you are powerful, you are infinite, you are strong. That's the true teacher. That's what I heard. And then the next thing I heard was my teacher may arrive in any appearance, even look like a bald-headed black dude. It could appear in any appearance. Do you all have appearances? So you could be my teacher because you're helping me remember who I really am. And who am I really? Love, spirit, truth. Do you know that all your problems are identity problems? that every problem you think you have in the world, every single problem you think you may have in the world is coming from you not knowing who you are for real. All problems. He says all problems come from not knowing who you really are. So we need some people, if we're going to have people in our lives at all, we need the ones who are helping us remember who we really, I like to say really are. Really are. And the people that you're around the most are the people that's teaching you the most. Because they're the ones who are reminding you the most of either what you are or what you are not. Everybody with me? All right. Then it goes on to the next line. It says, my life is my teacher. If you got a life, you got a teacher. Your life is your teacher. Anybody care to say how they think their life has been teaching them so far? Has your life been teaching you that you are loving and lovable, chilled out, cool, powerful, free, abundant? Has your life been teaching you that you don't believe that? Or has your life been teaching you a little of both? Where it looks like you really got it together sometimes, and it looks like, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. You know what I'm saying? So, which one is the largest for you? Those who feel like their life right now is teaching them that they're loving and lovable more than it's teaching them that they're fearful and unlovable, raise your hand. Okay, and it's okay if it's not. And right now if today you had one of those days that it looked like your life was teaching you that you got a lot to work on, would you raise your hand?
Yeah.
If y'all notice, I raised my hand both times. All right, wouldn't that be the honest response? Because like if you would raise your hand every time you were teaching yourself or thinking something loving and unlovable, people probably think you're nuts because you'd be walking down the street going. Because with every single thought, I have a tendency to want to convince myself of something different about myself. And that's only two things. Love, I'm loving or I'm not. Loving or I'm not. Okay. The next thing I jotted down out of that paragraph, it said, every part of my life is designed perfectly to teach me who I really am. How do you feel when you say, every part of my life is designed to perfectly teach me? How do you feel about your life when you say, every part of my life was designed to help me perfectly teach me? Would you want to put a hit man out on the designer?
Sometimes.
Or would you like to be going, wow, I like this design? So everything that's happening in your life was perfectly designed to help you remember who you truly are as love. Everything, everybody. So that means everything and everybody that's in your life is helping you remember how cool you are. Even if it looks like they're challenging you so much that you'll make the decision that you're going to do something cool for yourself because you've had it. They're still helping you remember who you are. Some people are so wonderful, they just won't do nothing you want them to do the way you want them to do it. They're just the best people on earth to be hanging out with. The ones that just absolutely show you the truth. Which means, your happiness has to come from within, because if you depend on me changing, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your freaking life. I was just saying to someone recently, I'm willing to come up with any solution and experience nothing but love between us as long as it don't require me changing in any way. So let's work it out from there. People say, that sounds selfish. No, that's totally sane. First of all, I don't want to be with someone that's trying to convince me that I need to change to be okay. That's rule number one. The fact that you think I need to change means you're telling me something wrong with me. I'm learning that there's nothing wrong with me. I'm loving, I'm lovable, and I might have some misperceptions that need to be released, but I'm loving and I'm lovable. So let's not try to change each other, because all the gifts that you can possibly give me come from you being yourself. Every good thing that I'm going to ever receive from any of you in this room is going to come from you being yourself. Not what the TV said you should be, not what the magazine said you should be, not what the movies said you should be, not what our friends and relatives. Our gift to the world comes from us being uniquely ourselves, and it's easy to tell when you're not because you're freaking unhappy. It's not rocket science. You're miserable, then you're out of touch with yourself, Earl. You've forgotten who you really are. You need some memory going on, not some analyzation. You need to remember. You need to remember that my teachers are going to come to me in every appearance, and who's really my teacher is helping me remember who I really am, and that my life is my teacher. Then the next thing is said in that paragraph that I jotted down is every part of my life is designed perfectly to teach me who I really am, and I'm an infinite loving being. Do you see yourself as a totally infinite loving being, and don't lie? Okay, thank you. All right, now, so you know we got some work to do.
Yeah.
What do we mean by work? We just mean we have some remembering to do. Remembering, not figuring out. Figuring out will tire you out. Figuring it out will tire you out. Figuring it out will tire you out. I'm not asking you to figure anything out. Nothing. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sick of figuring things. I'm sick of figuring things out. I'm sick of learning. I want to create now. I want to be a creator. I'm sick of being a learner. And then this stuff said, these are your last lessons. This is it. You're about to graduate. Yeah. The truth is you already have, but you don't know it not. You hallucinate and think you're still dealing with it. But that's okay. I'm here. I'm Dr. Purdy. I'm going to take care of you till you realize that you're okay. That you've been saved. Okay. You're in the rescue unit. Still think you're out on the desert. It's okay. You're just hilarious. Hilarious. What they call it? Delirious. Yeah. Hopefully we'll go into hilarious. Yeah. He's hilarious. I crack. Somebody needs to crack me up. It's like, I'm tired of waiting for other people to do it. I just crack myself up. It's cheaper that way too. Okay. I save a lot of money entertaining myself. Yeah. I'm amazed at the dinners I can take myself out to by myself. Try spending the money you spend on two people on a dinner on yourself and see what kind of meal you have. And you be laughing with yourself. You're so lovable. No, you're so lovable. Okay. Oh God. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Help me, Deb. All right. The next thing that I got out of that paragraph is my world reflects what I think I am and what I think I am not. The purpose of guidance is to teach me the difference between what I am and what I am not. So I'm asking the Holy Spirit to teach me how to tell the difference between when I'm really being myself and when I'm not. When I'm really loving myself and when I'm not. When I'm making right choices for myself and when I'm not. I want to know the difference. Because I don't know the difference, because I don't think I would have made painful choices like I've made in the past if I really knew the difference from the very beginning. Hindsight is always 20/20. We can always look back and see clearly what we should have done. But vision is knowing the consequences of your actions before you take them. That's the difference between vision and hindsight. You usually have hindsight after you've been kicked in your behind. That's what they call it, hindsight. You know. And what I want is vision. You know. So, do you want vision or you want hindsight? Vision. Okay. I don't know. Is that a trick question? Well, questions hook the mind. Yeah, if I just sit up here and say statements all night, you're about to pass out on the floor. Questions hook the mind. Even in spite of yourself, if I ask you a question, you're going to react because you've been trained to. Even if you don't want to. You're like, oh. Well, so don't forget, you want to go fishing with those questions when you want to have some kind of a real connection with somebody. You want to, let me ask you a question. And get them engaged. Get engaged, y'all. Let's get engaged. But let's not get married. Okay. I wouldn't do that to nobody. Not until I got more sense than I have now if I was going to do it at all. I'm really doing people a favor right now. But you feel like you're doing people a favor sometimes when you're in that time when you're trying to get your own self together before you're trying to get into anything really powerful and deep. Yeah. Yeah, you can't get what you don't have, can you? You know, I see people trying to do that all the time. Give peace that they don't have, and give love that they don't have, and give stuff that they don't have. They think they can give it to somebody else and then they'll have it, but they don't have nothing to give. Funny. Previously, I wanted those who do not know the difference between what I really am and what I really am not to teach me the difference. So I used to go to advice for people who didn't even know what the heck I was trying to do. I would go to people who didn't know who I was to learn who I was. And I would expect people to treat me with love who didn't even know what love was. And I expect people to be patient and open who had no patience. And I expected people to be open-minded who were closed-minded. I would always go to the people who wouldn't give me what I wanted. And one day Spirit said, what you do is you give yourself where you're received, and then you don't give yourself where you're not being received. That's the rule. It ups your quotient of success tremendously.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, I'll make it even easier. You do stuff with people who want to do it with you. Where the ego says do stuff with people that don't. You know, try to be open-minded with a closed-minded person. Want to go out dancing with a wallflower. Want a passionate relationship with someone as frigid as ice. Want to go mountain climbing with somebody that hates mountains. You know, that's how the ego does it, right? Everybody familiar with that, right? Okay, that's what it's telling us. That we go to that people who don't know who we are to try to teach us who we are. And most of us are the products of what it looked like our parents or our guardians taught us about us and who we really are. And we don't realize how much those ideas still are lodged in our deeper within our mind and control a lot of how we do stuff. That those very core beliefs are really behind your unhappiness at any level. It's funny how I want to stick to a learning that obviously by its results was not all that hot. But I still want to do it. You know, if I really just thought about it a minute, I should be glad to throw away all the beliefs that the world taught me that keeps me from feeling good about myself, just because of the way they make me feel. I think I'll do that. I think I'm losing my memory anyway. So how can I use that to my advantage? Well, I just forget the stupid stuff about myself and the stuff that's not true. I use my capacity to forget to think I'm guilty, to forget to think I'm weak, to forget to think I'm not enough, to forget to think I lack, to forget to think I'm alone. See what I'm saying? I could use my forgetfulness to free me instead of using my forgetfulness to limit me. We don't have to get rid of forgetfulness. We just have to choose some new things to forget. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's why people get into special relationships, the Course says. It's so that they can hide from themselves how they felt about themselves before the relationship showed up. You know, in other words, I wasn't really feeling really good about myself as I should, and then I meet you, and then I feel better about myself because you're helping me forget how I felt about myself, because now I'm getting my value from the attention that you give me. So your job really is to help me forget how I really feel about myself. And when you don't do that, I call that getting upset with you, because you're not giving me enough attention or whatever I'm doing. Then that's my grievance, because you're not doing what I hired you to do, which was to make me feel better about myself than I can make myself feel about myself by myself. And I need so much of that kind of attention, you're going to have to just give all your attention just to me, because it's a full-time job. So your job for the rest of your life, Lisa, is to make me feel really good. That's your job. And if you don't, then I'm going to say you don't love and support me, and I'm going to get mad at you. Then we're going to fight until you agree to give in and do better the next time, and then I can tell you I love you. Got it? I mean, very few people walk up to people in a bar in the party and say, I'm a maniac, but I need some love. Would you give it to me? You know, I really don't know how to love, but would you love me? You know, we don't say that, right? We get what we want to receive. So the first thing that happens is the temptation is to tell somebody what you're going to do for them and make them feel good. Because that's what I want. So I get what I want to receive. That's the truth. That's the way the law works. We should give what we want to receive. That's not a bad thing. But just be clear about whenever somebody give you anything, they're really letting you know what they want. So you never have to guess about what people want. It's what they give. That's it. Isn't that simple? It's too simple, isn't it? You know, you picking a fight, you want to fight. You're attacking me, you want to be attacked. You want peace, you're giving it to me. You want love, you're giving it to me. You want guilt, you make me feel guilty. You want abandonment, you abandon me. You give what you think you deserve. I abandoned you because I abandoned myself first. I wasn't true to myself, I can't be true to you. I'm going to abandon you because I've abandoned me. So people who abandon people abandon themselves first. You ever been abandoned? In your perception? You ever think somebody abandoned you? And you trying to forgive them for doing that? That means you're looking at it incorrectly. Isn't that deep? That I'm basically, if I'm trying to forgive you, it means I don't realize the benefit of you being gone yet. That's deep. I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm saying. If you feeling sad about what you think somebody did to you, then you're looking at it wrong, because if you were looking at it correct, you'd be glad they're gone. The job is gone. The person is gone. Anything that I'm trying to hang on to from the past is something I have not seen correctly. Because if I was seeing it correctly, I would not feel a sense of loss. I would feel blessed. So how many of you all are trying to forgive something that doesn't need to be forgiven because it was to your benefit that it left you, but you don't know it and you're still trying to get upset with them about it sometime? I think could have done it different. Okay. Let it go. They blessed you. They blessed. They blessed. Little cute juicy black dude. Somebody gonna love it, just well be me. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Suppose everybody that you met was as enthusiastic about you as you are. It'd be a sad state of affairs, wouldn't it, boy? We'd be like in therapy, all of us. I went to Cleveland to do a Course in Miracles conference this past weekend, and it was incredible. It was incredible. I had a more astounding time and chance to look at myself on so many different levels than I did even when I went to Europe. And then who would have thought? Cleveland. You never know. I had the most powerful experience I've ever had in my life in Cleveland. Like it says here, my teacher may arrive in any appearance. Cleveland. Yeah. But I got this personal theory that cities that you never really hear that much about is where all the sane people live. That's why you don't hear nothing about them. It's peaceful. Think about that for a second. You know, you don't hear about Okemokee, Wisconsin. It's probably nothing happening there. And it's probably some peaceful, cool. I know the more conscious I get, the more I would like to be somewhere that I feel completely safe. But now I found out it's just inside myself, and if I'll be safe inside myself, I'll be safe anywhere I go. That's better protection than police is my consciousness. The police is my consciousness. My consciousness will protect me more than any law enforcement agency. I could have a way of thinking that just don't attract crap to me, or danger, or attack, or harm, or hurt. And you do too. Think of how little physical attack that you've had in your whole life. I'm talking physical, somebody physically attacked you. And if you say it happened 10 times, that's still not even 0.1% of 1% of your life that you were physically attacked in. So it's really blown all out of proportion.
Yeah.
All the stuff we're upset about is all blown totally out of proportion. If someone smacked you down 10 times in your life, you've had a very peaceful life. when you think of the number of days you've lived. You know, they said 30 people died last night were killed in Denver. Everybody be freaking out, wouldn't it? They'd be saying it's a crime wave. It's 1 million people in this area. 30 people is not even one part of 1%. In those 30, it was time for them to go to another level of existence and consciousness. They weren't victims either. That's even deeper to think about. But I'm saying our world is much safer than it's dangerous. It's smoke and mirrors. It's all of us terrified of everybody. It's nothing but a lie. We're in a place that's much safer than it being dangerous. Now, I hope that don't disappoint anybody who was looking forward to attack. Because the world is a dangerous place and I need to be proven right by somebody hurting me. Then I can be right about the world being dangerous. So I want you to be wrong, Earl, and the only way you can be wrong is for me to get mugged. Well, that's really going to be right, isn't it?
Yeah.
To the crazy way. You know, I don't want to be right about miserable stuff. I want to be happy. So the next one on here is I need to ask who really knows what I am and what I really am not, to teach me the difference between what I really am and what I really am not. I need to ask who knows and not who doesn't know. Now, anything anybody care to share about what we just talked about? Any questions? Any comments? Or just a realization that you made? We all friends here. We all know each other. What thoughts are any of you having about? One thing I realized is, one thing that had meaning to me was,
It is what it is. I mean, I'm going through what I need to go through it's not the big deal that I tend to try to make of it. Because the more I try to make it a big deal, the more I go to the fear side versus the love side.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can sit back and look at whatever is going on as a teacher that is my teacher, then it makes it a little more clear. And I don't have to do anything.
Except remember.
Right.
That's all I'm having to do is remember. The interview, yeah.
I sure have a lot of things in my life that make me forget who I am. You know, it seems there's more negative than there is positive most of the time. I don't know if it's my perception, how I'm viewing it, or
Based on what you've learned, what is it?
my perception.
Okay.
It's easy to say, but it's what's happening, and it sure doesn't seem that way, you know?
Right.
And then I have to remember that there's two things, there's love and the call to love, so if something is negative, it's calling out for love. It's
Just
my
remember,
perception.
you don't have to give it to them. See, sometimes what we forget is that it's asking us to see it as a call for love. It's not asking us to do anything about it unless we're guided to do something about it. Because we don't really know what that person needs. It took me a while to get that I don't really know necessarily what would fix you. So I could be misdirected if I decide that I'm going to help you out in the way I think you need to be helped out. So what I'm trying to do in my personal life more and more is ask questions like, you know, what do you think? How could I support you? And then I ask myself, would that be a sacrifice for me? And if it wouldn't be a sacrifice for me, then I'll agree to do it. If I think it would be a sacrifice, then I don't. Because the truth teaches me that sacrifice is not love. Sacrifice is an attack, and it builds resentment. So I try not to sacrifice for anybody, and I try to ask people not to sacrifice for me. Now, I've been pretty good at getting people not to sacrifice for me. That's been pretty good. I've done that pretty good. My desire to sacrifice sometimes becomes strong because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or I don't want to lose somebody's love, and especially with like when I had to go visit my grandma. But sometimes when I visited my mother, it was a sacrifice because I wanted to do something else, and I thought it would hurt her feelings if I didn't. So I was resenting my mother, but I thought I was being loving to her by making my sacrifice. So we would come visit our mother the most when she was sick. Makes sense, don't it? And then when she wasn't sick, we would go about our own life. And so she was lonely. So unconsciously, she started getting sick more and more and more so that we could come and spend time with her more and more and more. And sometimes I never saw her happier than when she was sick, with us standing around her saying, what can we do for you?
Mhm.
But if she seemed like she was strong, we would go about our business and she would be sad and lonely. So unconsciously, she learned that the only way I can get attention is through something, quote unquote, we would call negative. So, because people are going to get attention, whether it's through something negative or what we call something positive. So what you could do is just voluntarily acknowledge and express gratitude and appreciation for somebody when they're really feeling good, so that they'll be kind of like tilting in the realm of, oh, okay, I feel good. Appreciation goes along with me being a joyful, peaceful person myself. God, I wish I could make this as complicated as I used to. Then I would have such a good excuse for not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I used to teach and learn real complicated truths, then I could just kind of mess around forever because I could say it was so complicated I didn't really understand how to do it. But then you tell me something simple, then I don't have no excuse. Anybody else before we go to the next one? Yeah, Donna.
I have a question.
Sure.
If you could elaborate on, I wrote down, my world reflects what I think I am and what I think I'm not. And then you said something about vision. And so could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. When I look out in this room, I could see what I call loving people, who would be a reflection of what I think I am, because I'm learning that I'm loving and lovable. And sometimes I look out in the world and I think I'm looking at people who I have nothing in common with, and they're nothing like me. So I think I'm looking at what I'm not. So on one level, I'm looking at what I think I'm not, and then one level, I'm looking at what I think I am. You know, and that so that's all I'm seeing. I'm either seeing what I identify with or what I project on. Or I'm either seeing what I identify with or what I don't identify with. And so I'm either seeing what represents the truth about me, or I'm seeing what doesn't represent the truth. If I'm a loving being and I see something that's not loving, then I'm looking at something that doesn't represent the truth about me. If I'm looking at something that's unloving, that's not the truth about me. You see what I'm saying? So I'm either looking at what I think I am or what I think I'm not, all the time. And so the Course said the way it works is this: you have the wrong perception of yourself, and then you get the correct perception of yourself. And then once you get the correct perception of yourself, let's say you see yourself as a loving, powerful, strong, valuable person, okay? The truth is you are valuable and loving and strong. So that perception is no longer different from the reality. And so it's easy to cross over into the reality. You follow what I'm saying? So first we have to have a true perception, and then the true perception takes us into the reality of it. I have the perception that I'm a loving person, takes me into me seeing and knowing myself as a loving person. But I can't go into I don't love myself and to recognize that I'm a loving person. The Course says you have to go from unhappiness to happiness to awakening. So I go from being what I think of as an unhappy human to a really happy human to recognizing who I really am beyond the human. So I'm glad about that. I'm glad that I get a chance to have the human experience in a way that's unlimited and joyful before I wake up to who I really am in spirit. I'm glad I don't go from miserable human to out the body. I'm glad, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad I get a chance to you know, I decide to be separate. I decide to have this body. I just want to have some fun with it and enjoy it and learn through it and have some cool, instead of wasting half of the time that I can do something really easy with guilt and shame and inhibitions and holding back and not letting myself have a good time. I could be enjoying this body. Anybody else like to enjoy their body? I'll get back to you on that, Earl. Or would you like somebody else to enjoy your body? What about that? How about that?
In private.
Yeah. So when I say body, enjoy the body, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Sex.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's talking about something sexual. So if I was, what's wrong with that? Nothing.
So Earl, when you see what you are,
Uh-huh.
see the love, and then you look over here and you recognize what you are not.
Uh-huh.
Do you just go, that is what I am not? and proceed
Right.
over here to the loving part?
Right. Yeah. What I would do is in other words, it's not necessarily anything I would do.
Right.
It's really just it would just be the
Recognition.
way it would be the way I would be seeing myself. You know, because I want to identify with the love and not with the fear.
Right.
So the more you wake up, the less you do,
Right.
which is really cool. It's like this is what people don't realize. The more conscious you become, the less you have to do. Like all the stuff you used to have to do starts to get done for you in almost an effortless way, just from you beginning to realize you're loving and lovable. Because love always gives, and it always answers, and it always nurtures, and it always supports. So a person that's being truly loving could never want for anything. What you would want would just show up. The more loving you are. There'll be so many loving people in your life that you could not love all of them because they're too cool. You wouldn't exclude anybody just because they're so cool. But I remember when I thought love was limited, and I thought I was lucky if I could get one person to love me, then I'd strangle that love out of my neediness. Because that was like my last chance. Every one of them was my last chance. I had to had to make this work. You ever been in one of those relationships that you feel like you just got to make it work no matter what? A job or something like that. Why? Don't you think that's lack consciousness? This is it. This is my only shot. If this doesn't happen, this is it. I got to get this. This is it.
Yeah.
That's what I am not. I am not a being of lack. There is no lack of love in my life. That's what I saw this weekend to a much greater degree than I'd seen in a long time. And I saw you don't have to do anything but be to receive it. Like a friend of mine was saying, one of the other speakers at the conference I was speaking at was saying that he just has 2 rules that he lives by, and that's no private thoughts and no people pleasing. Think about that. No private thoughts, no people pleasing. That's what most people do all the time. People pleasing and hide the way they really think. So how do you handle someone communicating with you and sharing something with you that you don't want to interpret or attack them while they're saying it, so that you can get past the block? How do you do that?
Is it that active listening?
It's the active listening and mirroring back to them what they said to you. That's all you have to do. Concentrate on what they're saying and just say back to them verbatim what they just said back to you without changing it hardly at all. And that allow you to hear stuff that your ego would normally interrupt and not let you hear. Because your ego is thinking about what they're saying and how it wants to react to what they're saying, right? So, but if I'm trying to remember what you're saying, I can't run that process down and hear what you're saying. So I can't say it back to you if I'm not listening. And me trying to practice that a lot lately has been interesting because I realized more to a level that it appalled me how much I wasn't really listening, but I thought I was. I thought I was a better listener than I am, because sometimes when it was time for me to, in my mind, say back to them what it was they said to me, I was having a hard time remembering what they said, because I was trying, while they was talking, I was trying to worry about whether or not I remember.
Yeah.
That which was really funny when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like I so much wanted to remember that I was worried about remembering so much I couldn't remember what they told me.
Me too.
Okay, so, okay, anybody else? So we can go to the next paragraph. It doesn't matter how fast we go. That's the least of our concerns. It's really about, can I remember one thing I can take out of this friggin' room that I can use? Yeah, darling.
What I found today, which is the first time that it really, without me thinking about it, is kind of like what you are and what you're not, or being around people that are love versus fear. Saw somebody that I haven't seen in quite a while, and I was real excited to see him, and afterwards it was like, wow, that was that was interesting, you know. It was the first time that really hit me that I could understand what you were saying about that, and that happened with 2 people today, so it was kind of interesting to finally feel that and know that without thinking about it.
And it's very exciting to know people who know that's the reason why you're together.
Yeah.
It's such a difference between being with people who know your reason for being together is to help each other remember that you're loving and lovable, and that's consciously your goal with each other. It's like How can I help you feel really good about yourself as much as possible to love yourself? That's my goal in this relationship. Could you see how exciting that would be to have friends that's what their goal is? That you all's goal with each other is how cool can I help you feel about yourself, and how safe a place can I give you to express how you feel when you're upset? That's the kind of relationships that I have in my life. And when you have those kind of relationships, you don't tolerate the other ones for 5 minutes, because you know there's a difference. But if you've never experienced anything but crappy communication, you'll put up with it for a long time because you literally don't know that you have another choice. But if you actually have connections and relationships with loving people who listen to you, and you all talk to each other with the goal of getting in touch with your power and with each other, and then you're around someone who's criticizing you, judging you, putting you down, you find you will have zero tolerance. Not in an attack way, you just won't seek them out. And they won't seek you out either. Because people who want to be in conflict can't stand being around peaceful people. It drives them nuts. They need somebody who's going to join in the attack with them. Because they're miserable because they're judging. So they need somebody to judge with them. Have you ever met somebody who got mad at you because you wouldn't get mad at the person they were mad at? And they said that you were not being supported because you joined them in the attack?
Oh, yeah.
We've all had that, right? So they're not going to hang around you. So not only are they not going to hang around you, they're going to get mad at you and say you are not a good friend because you don't join in pain with them. That's deep when you think about it. So you never have to put anybody out your life when you start to be loving. They'll just run for the hills. It will. They can't. People who want to be miserable can't stand loving people. Irritates them to no end. Can't stand them. So you go through a period where it looks like a lot of your friends drop off when you first start to change your mind. Look like a lot of people you've been close to for a long time, all of a sudden they just disappear out of your life, and you feel lonely or you feel bored. That's a good one. You feel really bored, like you're not, the things that used to turn you on and used to motivate you don't have as much attraction as they used to have. And you'd be tempted to go back and try some of the old stuff you used to do to make yourself happy. And even if you do, it don't feel the same. But the trick is, when you're feeling bored, stay up against the wall and don't try to do anything you did in the past to make yourself feel good. Just stay there. Keep studying, keep reading, whatever you're doing. And before you know it, you'll go through the wall and you'll be on the other side. And you'll be surrounded by really cool people that's asking you to do really cool things. You know, I was invited to a meal the other night that was, you know, I was like, couldn't believe it. But I get that happens. There's a lot of wonderful people out there who just want to love when you want to love yourself. Anybody can vouch for that beside me?
Oh,
Yeah. You didn't go out and try to get them. They just kind of were there. Yeah. Yeah. Because they couldn't help but show up because you're so cool. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're so cool and you're juicy. So don't worry about it. You got it covered. I'm gonna keep reminding you of that. So let me do one more. Got a little time. Oh, I love this one. One more. Oh, it's the next paragraph. Okay. So since you got to learn the difference between who you really are, then it says, then you need to look to a different source other than the people who don't know or the things that don't know. And it says that source is love. And love is available in every situation but for the asking. Now when I want a hug, I just ask for it. I wanted a hug today, I just asked for it. I said, I want a hug right now. Well, I used to just wait and hope somebody would sense my needs without me saying anything. Then I would get mad at them if they weren't sensing my needs and they weren't reading my mind.
Yeah.
You could just go, I sure need a hug right now. You know, would you just give me a hug right now? You could do that, you know. It's a little tip I'm throw out there. You could just ask. And then it says, he says, in every situation, love is available in every situation, but for the asking, ask, what would love have me do? What would love have me see? What would love have me say? What does love want me to do? What does love want me to see? What does love want me to say? When you call upon love, you call upon your source. When you seek the wisdom of your heart, you call upon me. When you seek the truth that is in your mind, you call upon the Holy Spirit. So the course of love, which says it was channeled by Jesus, whether we believe that or not is not important, but that's what it says as a correction and a further outgrowing of the wisdom that we need to have. So when you want, so in other words, when you want wisdom, it's like you're talking to that part of yourself that represents the Christ within you, the Spirit within you. And then he says, when you want to hear the truth, then you ask the Holy Spirit within yourself. So one appeals to the heart, one appeals to the mind. Right now, where are you at? Are you in the place that you want more heart connections? Or are you in the place that you still want to talk a lot? Some people are in the talk phase of truth. They just want to share concepts and ideas. They sit down all day to talk about love. And then there's another group of people that say, I want to feel it. I want to feel that connection with everybody in this room. I don't want to just come here and just share a bunch of concepts, but I don't feel you and I don't feel connected to you. So I want to join the heart and the mind. That's what I'm working on. I want my heart and my mind to be connected. That's what the Course calls wholeheartedness. My thinking and my heart are not in conflict. My thinking is flowing with my heart. When you recognize it's all equal, the only thing that makes any difference is what you can get your heart into. That's what I do now. It really don't matter what I do, because Spirit's going to be with me any time, right? So since nothing matters, I can do anything I really want to do because God's going to be with me no matter what I do. Then I just need to do what makes me feel good in my heart, what I can get my heart into. Got two choices of what to do tonight. Which one do I feel like I can get my heart into that feels inspiration? I think about it. Yeah. This feels good. Because it doesn't matter which one you take, which one you choose, which one do you get turned on by. I love the simplicity of this. It says, when you seek the truth that's in your mind, you call upon the Holy Spirit. Thus is the sacred Trinity always available in every situation, and for whichever learning mode you are most comfortable in, all learning modes, however, will eventually return you to the source, which is love. I'm going to stop there, because I don't want to rush through that paragraph. The paragraph's got too much stuff in it that's too cool. So I'm just going to stop at this point. So when you're in any situation and you want some love in that situation, this is what you do. You say, what would love have me do right now? What would love have me see right now? What would love have me say right now? A modern language version of that would simply be, what does love want me to do? What does love want me to see? What does love want me to say? What does love want me to do right now? What does love want me to say right now? What does love want me to see right now? What does love want me to do right now? What does love want me to see right now? What does love want me to say right now? What does love want me to do right now? What does love want me to see right now? What does love want me to say right now? What would love say to you right now? I know you just did something that irritated me, but what would love say to you right now? What would love see in this right now? What would love do right now? I see him dancing a little bit too close to that person over there. What would love do about that? What would love see in that? What would love say about that? Just like when you said earlier about you didn't know it was perception or not until I asked you, what does your teaching tell you it is? And as soon as I said that, you answered perception. So that's what we forget, that there's no need for you to figure out whether it's perception or whether it's not. You know now. You know it's perception because you've been told that's what it is. So you don't have to figure it out anymore. Who's happening to you? Who's happening to you? You. You don't have to figure that out anymore. Where's everything coming from that's causing you happiness or unhappiness? You. Now you don't have to figure it out anymore. Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have to figure out what's the problem in my love life. Me. And I don't have to figure out what's the problem in my financial situation. My thinking. I don't have to even get you to deal with it at all. It don't have nothing to do with y'all. How would you like to be around a person like that? That their first instinct was, what do I need to correct in me, rather than saying, you know what, you need to get your act together. Which one do you think I'd rather hang out with? I'd rather hang out with the person that's going, you know what, this is my issue, I need to deal with it. I'm not trying to attack you, I want you to have peace. Give me a minute, let me see if I can see this differently, because I really, really, really feel like I'm the one that's creating what I'm going through. Or a person that goes, you doggone low down dog. Every time I look up, you always hurt me, and you're not really appreciating me, and you're not giving me the attention that I want, and you just need to change, and you didn't even remember my birthday. Which one you want to hang out with? You have that choice. One is what you are not, One is what you are.
Cool.
Because you have the power of saying yay or nay. Dialing, not dialing. Inviting, not inviting. Going, not going. The problem with the freedom thing, though, is the more you realize you're free, the less you'll see anything outside of you trying to direct your life, and so it looks like you got to make more decisions for yourself. I don't know if you noticed that yet.
Say that again.
The more you begin to get in touch with your power, the less it will seem like other people are trying to influence what you do one way or another. And so you find yourself more and more having to make your own choices because you are surrounded by people who let you be and give you freedom. And they're not trying to run your business. So then you really do become more responsible for making your choices because nobody else is trying to do it for you anymore. In other words, you run a bunch of people who mind their own business.
Mm-hmm.
And those kind of people, wow, they're tough to be around when you need other people to tell you what to do because you're a people pleaser. Nobody's trying to stop you, so you in a loving world now. There's nobody consciously trying to stop you from doing anything. You actually succeeded. Then you get in touch with your own lack of ambition.
Yeah.
You just get shocked. I don't want to do a damn thing. If it wasn't for that, my mama prodded me, I never would have graduated from high school. You had 80% of what you did was because somebody was on your case. Yeah, so, lazy people don't handle enlightenment well. Okay, you little juicy, beautiful people, would you acknowledge yourself for even listening to a ranting old guy like me? So, we're going to take a financial demonstration of appreciation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that as a full-time teacher, this stuff. Sunday at 1 o'clock. I'm here in town until the second weekend of August, so far as I know. So I'll be, I haven't decided what I'm going to do after this class completes yet. I'm in the process of getting guidance about that. But definitely I'll still be doing the Course in Miracles on Sunday. So I'm asking Spirit right now, what does it want me to do? What does it want me to say? What I'm supposed to be doing next? Because there's some stuff going on inside me, so I got to find out what it is Spirit wants me to do. I can't take it. You know what I'm saying about the pocket? Yeah. What do you want, love? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to see? Have you ever seen somebody that looked at you in your eyes with such love that they cried because of what they saw? Anybody in here ever had the experience of watching someone cry because of the way they feel about you and the way that they see you? It's a beautiful thing to experience. It's awesome. How could you not think you were valuable if you experienced something like that? Wow. Plus it's fun. It's fun to make somebody feel so good that they can't hardly take it. And you be like, how can I make you feel better? That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Have you ever been in any kind of relationship with somebody that y'all was in competition as to who could treat each other the best? That's another fun relationship to be in. Where it's like, how can I show you even more than you show me how cool I think you are and how much I appreciate you? Wouldn't that be fun to be with somebody like that? Even if you don't know how that could happen, be open to it. Right? So I'm gonna end this tonight on the questions. You can say them and not say them, but I want to say them a few times so that you can maybe remember what they are. Just because repetition is how we get it. Okay? Okay.
Beautiful thing.
What would love have me do? What would love have me see? What would love have me say? What would love have me? Don't look back. Don't look back. Don't look back at the old beliefs. Don't look back at the old ideas you used to have about yourself. Don't look at yourself the way you used to when you didn't really love yourself the way you should. Don't look back because the past is behind you. There's nothing to remind you of the past. We're going to use our memory to remember right now. Let's use our memory to remember to love ourselves right now. What would love have me do? What would love have me say? What would love have me see? What would love have me do? So it's do, say, see. 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 So what does love want me to do? What does love want me to see? What does love want me to say? What does love want me to do? What does love want me to see? What does love want me to say? What? So you say with your eyes closed one time. So I'll say it one time. Do, see, say. 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 What does love want me to do? What does love want me to see? What does love want me to say? What does love want me to do? What does love want me to see? What does love want me to say? So what about God? What does God want me to do? What does God want me to see? What does God want me to say? What does God want me to do? What does God want me to see? What does God want me to say? We go do, see, say. Do, see, say. I say do, see, say. Do, see, say. I say do, see, say. Do. One more time, I'm gonna go. What does God want me to do? What does God want me to see? What does God want me to say? Now we know we're not retarded, isn't that right? With these three words, see, like you see how your mind will do sometimes. It's just three words. I'm going, what the suits? I'm stumbling and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's okay because we got it. We cool, right?
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate y'all. Come on, give it to